Woohoo! Let's kick it.
Here we go.
Little Buddy Holly.
I'm gonna tell you how it's gonna be. You're gonna give your love to me. I'm gonna love you every night and day. Say love and not baby. Say love and not fade away. Yeah!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of San Antonio Musicians Talk Show Network. We have for you today the River City Slim Show. Yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Henry Perez in the house, man, from the Rhythm Kings.
If you want to call it the River City Slim Band, 'cause I got some great guests here. Well, you've got some guests.
Yeah. Well, we're all in it together. It's your show, buddy boy.
Yeah, I'm excited to play with these guys, although it's not the first time I've played it with X-Man.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Hey, on this side, we've got Cesar V. He's a legendary backup to his brother, Ruben V.
Oh, yeah. He's a busy guy. He'd be here, too, but he's a busy fella.
I know. Well, he was on the show 10 years ago. I'm calling this show 10 years after on behalf of everybody, including Henry that was on the show 10 years ago.
I'm happy to be here, man. Like I said, I'm honored to be playing with
And a newcomer, Xavire Aguire. I mean, he's new to the circle of friends of whom I've now met, and all of a sudden we all know each other, right?
Yeah, we all know
It's
each other.
amazing.
I've known
The
these guys a
stories.
long time.
Yeah, so we've all pretty much known each other.
I met Henry when I was 17.
Yeah, but Henry was actually slated to be on the show before COVID. So, I had him, my eyes on him to be on the show, but everything went haywire. And then a special guest that I have that's on his way, and you know the cat. Hopefully he'll just walk in the door, Urban Urbano.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah. He says you guys played in Paris some time ago or something, or France or somewhere. I don't know. He brought it up. He'll remind you.
Yeah, it was in Helsinki.
Helsinki.
Dang.
What part of the world
That's
is
far.
that? What part of the world is that, man, Henry?
We were in Europe.
Europe.
Okay. Right.
I mean,
we traveled around a little bit, so.
What I'm saying is how peculiar, no? I mean, who would think that we would even bring that up without Urban being here and without Urban having told me about it,
Well, because of him, I wound up over there. He's the guy who invited me to come down and play. And
Oh, my goodness.
Yep. So at that time, Chris Holzhaus, you remember Chris?
I remember Chris.
Okay,
yeah.
you
Great
might know
blues
Chris.
guy.
Of course.
Well, he
Great guy, period.
right before they took off to Europe, his passport expired.
Oh, yeah.
So I was the last minute replacement.
I
I was
see.
the
So
last
you're a
minute
replacement.
replacement. So
Good replacement.
What an opportunity.
That's a replacement.
Yeah, man.
All right.
For a
Helsinki
last
like.
minute gig, they picked number one, huh?
it was great, man. It was fun.
Hey, I have a question for you. Who brought up or who tagged you with the name River City Slim?
My brother Roy.
Smart aleck.
Yeah.
Well, now we know. None of us knew that.
loves
That's-
you, man.
now
There's
you
a
know
lot
San
of love
Antonio.
between you
Now
guys.
you know America.
What's that, bro?
We were rehearsing.
Yeah, now you know.
Before we
Roy did it.
Before we'd come up with the name, we were rehearsing and.
Eat that mic so we can hear you.
Okay, yeah. Now, okay, we're rehearsing.
Now you
it,
sound like a radio
all
personality.
right,
don't you?
Yeah. Okay, so we're
If you have
talking
any
about.
questions, overtalk is permitted, man.
We're
Just
talking
throw it
about.
down.
Okay, there's a Memphis Slim. There's a Tennessee Slim.
Oh.
Why not call him River City Slim?
Awesome. I like it.
Yeah.
And the name stuck, so
Sweet.
I have no objections to it.
Yeah.
And so it's River City Slim and the Rhythm Kings.
Amen.
There you go.
Yeah. And then, he's
legendary.
got his own groove, of which, is no stranger to X-Man over here or yourself. I mean, he does the Unknown Soldiers, so shout out to those guys. But X-Man is a big part of that.
We had
the recordings.
We had two really good gigs this past weekend. Thank you, Unknown Soldiers. Thank you, Roy Pettis. We'll see you soon.
Yeah. Yeah, you had a couple of really good gigs. Talk to me about where they were because
Well,
we
okay,
talked about them.
We
talked
played
about 'em.
Wednesday at Sancho's, and it
Sancho's.
was Roy on bass, me on guitar, and the other, the guys. We had Al Garcia on drums because Joey couldn't make it, and it was a great effing night.
All right.
Rad man. I mean, poor Rad man. Was it Rad, bro?
It was fucking
Yeah,
rad.
rad.
dude.
Always say that.
But then Friday night,
Rad.
Everything's rad.
we played the golf course of Texas with Ray Pettis on drums, Darren, Ryan, and John on bass, Roy on guitar, me on guitar, and that night was even better than Wednesday.
Wow.
So who knew? We were talking about all the time we wasted fighting.
Sure.
So right now Roy and I are getting along good. So hi, Roy.
And Roy, I noticed that everybody plays with
Henry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, Tim. We're talking about your brother. I'm so sorry, Henry. Henry, I know.
I'm a little heartbroken.
Yeah, I gotta go.
What did you just say? You're a little heartbroken.
I got you back, man.
I just blew his mind.
Time out. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, what did you just say? I called you by your brother's name. What did you say?
Oh, I'm a little heartbroken.
It was tell them, not me. Tell them. Speaking to the mic.
No, I'm a little bit heartbroken that he called me Roy.
It took this long to get him to say it in the
Well,
mic.
Roy's gonna love that one.
Okay, anyway.
Okay, I screwed up, man. I'm so sorry.
No,
There's no editing on
this
the
is
show, by
live.
the way.
This is live, so
But no, everybody plays with everybody else. They play for you, but you don't play for anybody else. That's so weird, man. I mean, everybody plays for you is what I'm saying.
I don't understand.
I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. Do you have any other projects? How about that? Any other projects other than your own groove? Like this guy, he plays for everybody, including he backs you up. He backs your brother up.
I
He
play
does-
for
what are the
what
other
you call
bands, I
green.
mean?
I play for green.
Yeah.
That's what I played
I've
for.
been lucky to front my own band,
Right.
and always never hurting for musicians. They're out there,
Amen.
and it's good to know so many musicians that are really good to, just hang out with them.
Amen.
And they'll come and go sometimes, but still. X-Man, he's joined us a couple of times.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to playing with this man.
Yeah,
sometime
anytime,
soon,
man.
Sometime soon.
Anytime, Henry.
I've jammed plenty of times with
I
his
need a
brother
gig on
Ruben.
trap set.
Oh, that's
man.
cool.
If ever
That's
you-
why I want to do it.
If ever you need a drummer, man, let me know.
Oh yeah.
I'm serious. I got my
And
trap
besides,
set now.
I heard that
Caesar.
Caesar, is now playing lead guitar and his brother's a bass player.
Oh yeah,
You
no,
weren't supposed to say that,
We
right?
discussed that.
That's a little secret.
That's
you
a
got
story
going on.
right there.
Yeah, Henry's right.
Thanks
Things
for,
have changed,
thanks for
man.
like passing it over, man. The brotherhood connection over here, man. Brother to Ruben V, Cesar, and it's known that you're the life of the party. Did you know that? He's
That's
like
what I've
just
been told.
laughs. Yeah.
I know. I came
Until the
up.
police show up. Right?
America. I came up with that line.
And he's your lifetime player, man. Right?
Oh, yeah, I've
You've
been
been
playing
playing
a
all your
I
life.
can't read music, but I can.
Corpus.
Right.
Tell me what it was like growing up in Corpus, because I mean I know a lot of cats. Let's say Selena and
There's
let's
a lot of
say
talented
Freddie
people out there.
Fender.
But we got to meet some good people. We showcased in Dallas for a while. Dimensions of Dallas. And the little brother took off from there. We had a little falling out. But he took off from there. He's running his own stuff, and he's great, man. He's a workaholic. I can't get a guy. And for him to play bass for me, offer to play bass, you know what I mean?
He can't get a job.
This is his job. That's what he says, You can't look back. You just start doing this
Yeah.
full time, yeah. So
But
it's
he
like-
also posted this is a job, so
Yeah, it's work. Believe it or not, you got to put in the hours, man. If you want
It's-
rewards, yeah.
That's definitely my job. That's all I do.
Yeah.
and so tell us a little bit about the project with your brother, man. I'm sure everybody wants to hear about that.
Well, I was supposed to talk about it, but anyway,
Yeah,
Henry's right.
we're
It's gonna
talking
come
about
out
you
anyway.
and the guys.
But you got it right here.
Do you have any
got it.
questions?
At
Henry,
Ocampo. Well, me
dile.
and David was starting to rehearse some songs, and we didn't bother inviting Ruben because he's busy always gigging or something.
Yeah.
Meetings, whatever. And Ruben shows up out of nowhere. And he goes, "Hey, how come you didn't invite me?" A little pissed off. He goes, "Well, there's only a spot for bass. Ruben, you're busy. I got the bass for you." I said, "What?" I was shocked. He said, "You don't have time, Ruben. You're busy." He goes, "I'll make time. You play bass for me. Will to live. I'll return the favor."
Did you learn anything from watching your brother play guitar?
Oh yeah, we're the same, but we're two different animals. You know what I mean? I'd be more R-rated. Would you say? You can do.
Oh, he's lying,
G-rated.
America.
more
It's
R-rated.
X-rated.
You can't put
He
you can't
must
put me
be
in a
the
church
single
house.
version.
Yeah, I can't play in a church house. They'll throw me out. Yeah, for sure. But but yeah, it's the same, but we're different. You know what I mean? And be honored
I'm
to play.
sorry.
I'm honored to play with Henry. I've seen him play. I was at the party over there on was it on West Avenue? It was pretty big.
Oh, at Josiah's house.
Yeah. It was pretty nice, and it was packed. But anyway, I look forward to it since Ruben did. Yeah, to trade some licks or something. Learn something. That's what I do. I go out and watch everybody and learn from them. You can't ever think you know it all.
You're the self-proclaimed hellhound.
Oh yeah.
Why
yeah,
is that?
we had a band.
Tell me.
Well, the Hellhound thing
Did
comes
you
from.
know that?
Well,
He's known
What
as
is
the
a
hellhound.
But the Hellhound comes.
I mean, in his case,
That was his band.
It comes from Robert Johnson.
See,
So Robert
it's
Johnson
on
was
his
followed by
profile.
the Hellhound, right?
you know about
Hellhound's on my trail.
Yeah, so that's where he's at. I said, well, let's call us Hellhounds because after Robert Johnson, we all follow Robert Johnson. But once he left,
We do?
all musicians follow Robert Johnson to a certain
Yes.
degree. So I said, well, that's where Hellhounds. We're following the blues, or the blues of rock. You know what I mean? And we just went from there. But I'm actually gonna stay at that hotel room they got here where we recorded. And, have a little seance. or something.
At the Crockett.
Yeah, call a spirit out. Maybe to record
he
a little
recorded-
jam. As a matter of fact, we got to bring you at Ocampo, record a song there. Just write one for him.
Absolutely,
You
man.
know,
You
call
throw
up Spirit
down
Robert
like that.
Johnson. See what happens.
He
you know?
recorded.
and
He
don't
recorded
play.
at the Crockett in
Absolutely.
1936.
That's what I'm talking
The
about.
Crockett.
There's such a thing as a good
Oh,
Yeah,
supporting
it's a
no,
role.
the
Gunter.
Gunter.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You're
Henry's
right. It was the
Yeah.
Gunter.
They're only about
Sorry,
two,
Robert.
It's about 200 a night.
Hey, Henry, how long has it been that you've been playing? I mean, we're talking about the very first time you picked up a guitar. How old were you?
I was 19.
No, really? 19?
Yeah.
That's late in age, man, to pick up a guitar. See, all you guys that think you can't do it.
For a guitar player, that's late. Yeah.
The 19 is.
And I'm like my.
Well, I
buddy
picked it up
here,
10 years
like
ago.
My buddy here, I'm also self-taught. You know.
Yes.
I can express myself better when I'm not thinking of what I'm going to play. You know, because you
Yeah.
don't know what's next. You just
Right.
you just go with the feel of what you're playing, and
Sure.
and you don't think of, well, I'm going to play this scale next on this song. You just
Exactly.
get crazy and go loose.
That's really interesting because that's exactly what I pick up when I go hear you.
Yeah, I'm not a shredder. I'm more of a take my time kind
Spontaneous.
of guy.
Yeah, it's more of a tasteful technique, so to speak. It's very slow and deliberate, and it takes you on a trip of its own. You know, some shredders, you know, oh wow, this is so great, you know, but really the melodic side of things, sometimes if you change it up the way you do, it's pretty dadgum interesting.
Oh, it's,
Well, you see, it's like growing up, I was listening to guys
Here we
like
go.
Roy Buchanan.
Here we go.
I was listening to John Fogerty, Creedence.
Yes.
I was listening
Creedence.
to Clapton, of course, and
The Doors. The Doors. Don't forget the Doors. Jim Morrison.
yeah, but I'm talking about
guitar
guitarists.
players. I
Yeah,
got you.
several guitar players. And every time I heard somebody, I said, "Man, I like that style. I'm going to try to pick that up." So I'd listen to them, and I'd listen to somebody else, and so on. And it was like you can call it like a melting pot. You put all these guys together, and you stir it up, and you come up with what I'm playing now. You know, that's how I developed my style, I guess.
Well,
So-
Well,
I tell you what I like about it. I remember I don't know if it was Michael Schenker or one of the legendary guitarists. Hey, there's two kind of leads you're gonna see a guy play on stage. It's the scripted one note for note, does the same
Sure.
thing every night, doesn't
Yes.
change. It's kind
Yeah.
of stale to me and sterile. You want to hear that? Go hear the record.
gets
So when I
stale
go hear
after a
got
while.
live. He adds that and then he throws his own stuff. So you don't know what the next note's coming out. You know whatever he's feeling that night. And that's
Yeah.
what I dug out hearing it. You know when you're spontaneous like that, that's the kind of player I
Well,
look
that's something you were talking about is a live performance. You're
Yeah.
into that.
That's why you
and
pay
see
for it.
that's where you can never capture the
different.
same thing
Right.
over.
Exactly.
You know, so it's your what do they say? You're only as good as your last performance.
Yeah. And if you were there that night, you caught that.
You know, so
special
you
night,
better
right?
make it good, man.
You caught the last show. It was different. You know what I mean? It's
And
like a new
X-Men,
record.
yeah, I mean, you've got so many projects. What would you say? You know, you've got Ty Gavin going on. You've got,
I got
your
Ty Gavin. I've got the Flow. I've got
Flow.
Rain Dogs.
Andy.
I've got Rain Dogs with Andy Garza. I mean, the Flow with Andy Garza.
Yeah.
Rain Dogs with Ray Zimzik, Gus Warner, Tommy Cortez. I've got the Ty Gavin Project. I've got Sangria with Juan Carlos. And I recently have played with Roy Pettis and the Unknown Soldiers. And
yeah, just last night.
Friday, yeah, Friday.
Friday.
And so I'm a very busy guy, but I've got time to play for you if you want.
Yeah, these guys are for hire, man. If you don't know how to reach them, just reach
Yeah.
San Antonio Musicians Talk Show Network, and we'll get a hold of them for you. We'll book these guys, and that's what it's all about.
To me, there's nothing in the world like playing music. I mean,
Yeah, but you also record.
I
So
also
there's some things that, of which you're like laying little eggs here and there, and you're leaving little.
well, the album's
know.
coming. I would be working on the album probably today, but our vehicle broke down on us, and it was a lot of money. So there went the album money, but it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming out.
Thus the
I don't
name
think it's going to be
Starving
Flo.
Artist.
I don't think it's going to be Flo or Rain Dogs. I think it's going to be Xavire Aguire solo album.
You going solo again?
I think I'm going to go for the album. I think it's going to be a solo record. But we'll see. Could be Flo, could be Rain Dogs. Yeah.
Well, the neat part is you've hit an all-time low on this show now.
No,
You can't-
no.
There's
I love
nowhere
this.
nowhere else
No.
but the top. From
Hanging
here,
out
man.
with each and every one of you is great. Best part of my day.
Yeah, and it's only for 1 hour, but we'd like to just keep it going on like forever. Which brings us to this point where we have most memorable silly moments, man. First off, I just wanted to go over one last thing. Who was the biggest influence that you had at 19 when you picked up the guitar and you decided to do it? Because I wanted to find out about when you first started.
Okay,
Who was the very first guy that was your influence?
John
biggest?
Fogerty of
Yeah.
Creedence.
Yeah.
I heard him playing his records, and he was so three chords, and real melodic solos and simple. And I said, I think I can play like that more than I can
All night long.
more than I can play like Johnny Winter. So
Yeah.
I went with that, and I wanted simple stuff. And
Now, you just said a really great name, Johnny Winter. I mean,
yeah.
I followed Johnny
Yeah.
Winter,
no,
man. I mean, I
saw
always
Winter. I saw Winter 3 times.
loved him.
The guy that
All
did
his shows
I mean,
are
you're talking
great.
about a blues king.
the guy that
Is
did
that
this
right?
tattoo.
Right? So who would you?
Did Johnny
you
Winter's
mentioned
stuff.
Johnny Winters, but who would you think is the Texas king of blues? I myself would have to say Johnny Winter. I was thinking of him last night over talking about this show with 3 blues greats here. And we have a lot of history here regarding the blues, man. Johnny Cockrell as well. He's not here, but nonetheless.
Oh man, you got Freddie King.
Yeah.
You got there was Johnny Copeland, of course, Stevie and Jimmy Vaughn both. There's a
Well,
lot of
there's a slow hand for you, Jimmy Vaughn. Yeah, which is very. I mean, almost like the style that you have. I mean, it's very deliberate.
I guess maybe, but
Not quite the same, but
when I saw,
He's
I'm
more
sorry,
rockabilly,
let me
I
eat the mic now. When I saw, I saw Stevie way back before he recorded his first album, and he was over at Pappy's on Bitters Road. That's an old,
yeah.
Wow.
He was there. It was a Wednesday night in
Ted
February.
Nugent, too.
And we walk up and nobody's there. There's 3 people at the bar, and it's a big place, And he played his butt off. He just took off. But I was talking to him that night, and I asked him who his favorite guitar players. And coming from him, he said his favorite guitar players were Lonnie Mack,
Yeah.
Albert King,
boy.
and Jimmy Vaughn. Really, he said, man, you ought to hear Jimmy Vaughn just playing his guitar at home. He plays stuff that you've never heard him play live,
That's awesome.
So no telling
He
what.
seems like that kind of player, man.
Yeah.
I remember I got to meet Jimmy Vaughn at the Aztec Theater with Ruben. I think Ruben opened up for him at the show that we invited me back there.
Oh, man.
Cool cat, laid back, humble, so like it's nice and all.
Shout out to the Vaughn family, man.
Yeah, great dude.
Oh yeah. Well, when Stevie Ray Vaughan died, in my eyes, Henry Perez became the king of the blues.
He was
Henry!
the next candidate.
He was the next.
I'll put
Yeah,
him up there
that's
with-
to me.
Passing
To
the
me, the
torch.
king of the
Definitely. I
blues
would definitely agree with
guitar is Henry Perez.
Hey.
Always has been.
The
You see how a
reason,
lot of people really do hold you in such high regard, Henry.
But the thing
We all do.
maybe is because I've been playing around for so long now. I've been doing this for so long. New guitar players come and they. That's the reason that because I've been around a lot longer than them, so they recognize me more than they do the new guys coming in. But in time they will. There's a bunch of good players out there.
True that.
Will Owen Gage. He's
Hombre.
of
Will
course.
tears it up in any genre that he plays. He's just so fluent. He's such a great
there's
guitar
just,
player.
too many.
He's been on the show too.
too
So
many
this-
to mention, man. But
Yeah. Let's check out something called most memorable silly moments. So I'll start off with you, man. Do you have anything that's happened to you at a gig that really kind of happened off the chart? If not, we'll move on until you get one. But and something that happened that's pretty funny at some gig. You want to help them out?
No,
X?
I got one. I got one.
Okay,
It
cool.
was
Even if
like-
you have two, man, it's your
there,
show.
there was the old.
The Henry Bettis show, yeah.
There was the old. What's that? White Rabbit or not?
Oh yeah, the White Rabbit.
What was it before? Oh, it's Joseph's Food Liner. Remember that?
That was a long time
That
ago.
was way back. You
The
know.
light bulb is beginning
I
to
think
turn
that was
on.
that was before my time.
Yeah. So anyway,
I'm thinking Josephine.
yeah, Joseph's Food Liner, and we did a show there opening for John Lee Hooker.
Wow.
So after our break, I was walking
kind of
around.
hooker?
John Lee Hooker. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just to make sure.
We were mingling in the crowd, and John Lee was in the crowd.
Okay.
And I asked him if I could take a picture with him, and he said, "No pictures." So I walked away, no big deal. So a few
Wow,
minutes
no
later,
pictures.
his roadie came up and go, "Hey, are you playing that super reverb up on stage?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, our other guitar player, Roy Rogers, who was playing with him, his amp just went out. Can we borrow yours?" So, well, I'll take a picture with John Lee. You can borrow my amp. So, end of story.
So you got your photo, huh?
I got it.
Tip
You gotta post it, man, so we can
No,
talk
it's
about
lost somewhere. That
it. Oh,
was
it's got
years.
lost?
That's lost
Oh, my
somewhere, but
gosh.
it's been
All that
years.
trouble for nothing?
Yeah. But I got my way though. So
Here you go. That's right. Got
That's
some
funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. X-Men, you got anything? And think of
Oh,
another one. If
man.
you have another one, this is your time, man.
I got a.
The River City Slim Show.
I think recently we were doing a show at Blues with Nathaniel at Blues on Broadway, and it was myself, Andy Garza, and Ty Gavin. That was the flow.
Oh, that's already trouble.
And there was this chick. Hey man, I know this song. Can y'all play it? And I was like, that's not what we do. We do our thing. And she managed to get her way up on stage. We let her sing whatever. Got rid of her. They were drinking right next to us. It was somebody's birthday party, and they were getting wasted. And she kept on yelling, "Hey, I want to do this." She started running towards the stage, and the three of us. She tripped over Ty Gavin's microphone, and he had like a steel bottom microphone.
Whoa.
And she hit her head and like passed out. We all thought we all thought she was dead.
Oh, my gosh.
no.
Yeah, so
She passes out on stage.
whoever you are, I hope you feel better.
Did they carry her off, or did
No,
she
she
roll
finally
off?
got up, but she had a big old
Did
like,
she roll off stage?
3-inch
or something?
bump on her head. She was all pissed off. But we just kept on singing.
Big old cyclops.
We're like,
looking
okay, what's the
thing.
next song?
Move on. Right?
And we went to the next song. She was at my feet, at our feet. But all right, man, that's mine.
That's so crazy, man. And yourself, Cesar?
I got a little story. It's kind of proud of it, but I want to learn how to play classical guitar, right? Because I couldn't read music and learn how to read. And
Classical.
Andy Rose is popular. He's a classical guy. So I took a class with the great Andres Segovia at Del Mar
Wow,
College. He's
that's a
legendary
name.
classical man. I said, I'm going to learn from this guy.
That's
You
the name right
so
there.
I signed up for the classes, and he gave us a little assignment to take home and homework. And I didn't do it because I was already gigging, so I didn't do the homework. And so we're all aligned in the chair the next
Excuse the
Monday.
technical difficulty.
And the kids, and every student's doing the class that they wrote, and I'm just hearing it and trying to watch their fingers. And so, by the time it got to me, I did it, but I didn't do it like the class. I did it my way, by ear. And we all finished, and he says, he asked me, "You didn't do your homework, did you?" I said, "No, sir." He goes, "Why not?" Because I had a gig and didn't have time. He goes, "Well, you did it wrong, but you did it right." I said, "What does that mean?" You played the notes and chords, but your own way. You know how to read music? I said, "No." And he goes, "That's why I'm here." And he goes, "You know what? Don't do it." He told me not to learn to read and write the music. I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "If you're already too far gone and gigging on your own with your ear, stay that way. It's gonna hinder you and take you back. It's gonna mess up, He goes, don't learn. I said, he goes, just come every Friday, take the test, and I'll give you an A.
That's funny.
And the rest of the class goes, hey, that's not fair. I go, really? Just come on Friday. The great Andres Segovia. After that, he passed on. I didn't see him after that, but he
Wow.
Yeah, that's
So
great
basically,
advice.
you never had to study.
No, he says, if you're
Playing.
playing by ear already, by feel and emotion, just stay that way. You're better off. He said, wow.
That's
This is the
funny.
classical
For
master
a
telling me
teacher
this
to
stuff.
tell you just stay
Unbelievable.
that way.
I can't read music. It's too much like math, and I hate math.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
what I'm saying.
I don't read. I've always played by ear.
Yeah.
Play piano, guitar,
Yeah.
and he's right. Once you hit a certain point, there's no
Yeah,
point. in
you're going backwards,
back.
You have to relearn.
I've got a most memorable silly moment that happened like years and years, probably about 30, 40 years ago, when Randy's Rodeo used to be.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
when Randy's was hitting, right?
Yeah.
Randy's Rodeo used to hit on Bandera Road, and
Uh-oh.
back in the J. Perez days, right when Tejano was hitting, well, rock was hitting too, So Crystal Winter was backing a band called Oz Canaz, for you guys that are rockers. It was the first
Yeah.
rock and roll band that had saxophone. And yeah, they were pretty
remember
heavy.
that name,
Get your
Oz
mic-
Canaz.
Get your mic, bro. Your microphone.
Microphone, right?
I don't know where it is.
Go.
And so we were opening up, and there was a packed house, sold out. So if you were there, you could imagine all the bottom of Randy's being sold out. And we set up, Crystal Winter did. There was another band before us, so it was a hurry up and rush, and everything was going on fast. And so we loaded up, we unloaded, set up, ready to go, but rushed. And they were like, come on, get going. It wasn't our fault. It was just everybody was behind. We were rushed. And we kind of had that miscommunication between musicians as to what song we were going to start
Right.
off with. So we like 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody starts on a different song. I think my brother was playing "Listen to the Music."
funny.
I was playing "Crossroads," and the other guy was playing something from Trapeze. And so it sounded hideous. But then we recovered, and then we started the right song, and everybody loved it. But they were very forgiving. That's all I can say. But I was like, oh gosh, so you can imagine.
And was that the first song, the one you
That
opened
was
with?
the first
Damn, man.
song of our, and we're opening up we're just band just before Oz Canaz. And we kicked it the rest of the show, but, it was just that rushing, hurry up, and we got miscommunicated and we screwed up. So it was pretty riot, no? Pretty nuts. Pretty embarrassing on top of that. But it
got
never
some-
happened
I
again.
got something real quick that's on the lines
all
of that.
means.
We played in my high school, and my drummer had this Neil Peart drum set, and he had all these drum cases. So
Oh, yeah.
we snuck in beer. In
I
so
used
we
to do
were,
that
we were
too,
like
on the
backstage, and we
bass
were
drum.
drinking, and there was a long-haired history. He's like, "Hey man, could I have one?" I was like, "Oh, you're a teacher, dude," But yeah, we snuck in beer to Kennedy High School, and we even had teachers drinking with us backstage. So it was, it didn't do anything for my grades. I was gone by 17 anyways.
Kennedy.
I love you, Kennedy High School. Everybody,
Kennedy.
don't drop out. Stay in school.
I wouldn't want to admit that, man.
Oh no,
No,
it was,
I'm sorry.
It was fun.
I'm just kidding. I'm
Oh,
joking.
no, no.
Hi, Kennedy. Edison.
I only went to
What
high
is it,
school to play
Burbank,
guitar.
or which one?
Talk to girls.
Jefferson High School.
Jefferson.
Yeah. Now I went to Holy Cross before going to Jeff.
Oh,
and,
cool.
And the guys at Holy Cross, the football players, would drive down to Kennedy, and they were the guys who were painting your rocket.
The Rocket. Oh,
Yeah, they were the ones.
real quick about
Oh
school.
man,
I know
we're
this
all
for a
connected.
fact.
Nobody's going to believe this, but Henry, myself, and Roy Pettis all went to Christ the King. We all went to Catholic school. They went 10 years before me. Wow. But we're all alumni of Christ the King. Roy Pettis, Henry Pettis, and Xavire Aguirre.
That's incredible. That's a wild thing to know here, man.
Yeah,
It really
that's
is.
nobody.
I went to
all,
St.
all
Anne's.
the devils came out of the same Catholic school.
Yeah, well, stuff happens.
We know what they
But,
call
it's
it, devil
been
music,
full
right?
circle, man. I'm sure.
It's called devil music. It was on Sunday mornings at the juke joints back in the deep South. The preacher would come out Sunday, and there'd be half the church empty. And Mrs. Johnson, where's Mr. Johnson? He went and had juke joint last night. And what about you? They all hung over and spent. That's why the money went. So the preacher said, that damn devil music took the church money. There'd be no money in the baskets. Because they spent it all drinking, partying last night. So they called it devil's music. Because the devil's taking the money.
You know what? I never finished that story about John Fogerty.
Talk to me, yes.
Yeah, so anyway,
Thanks.
at the time I was going to night school as a medical assistant, you know.
Cool.
Now, I had been going there for a while, maybe 3 months or so, and we were going to have a final the night that Creedence was in town.
Oh.
So
I know this one's going.
I skipped my final. I went to the concert.
Got you.
A few days later, I went out and bought a guitar, and that's
rest
how
is
I got
history.
started. So.
Beautiful. What a great story.
The rest is history.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it was just
Fantastic.
checking out John Fogerty
Cool.
with Creedence and his strums.
Fogerty
Because I
was-
think I may have been at that concert, man.
Fogerty was not a blues player, I know.
No, he
but-
wasn't.
But as years went on, I developed an ear for blues because my cousin was in a blues band or R&B band, and
Yeah.
I used to watch him and
All
listen
come
to
from
him,
that.
and man, that stayed with me, and that's all I wanted to. I
Yeah.
mean, I've stuck with it forever. That's what I do best, I think.
Right.
You know.
No, there's no
I
doubt
stuck
about
to
it,
my
man. You
guns.
own
There
it.
you go, man. It's a natural thing. It's a natural thing. Yeah. Beautiful.
And after high school, forget about ever going back to school.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I was done.
I'm gone,
I was done
baby.
with that.
I was done with that crap when I was 14. 14, I knew. I was playing backyard parties, just me, hanging out with girls, drinking keg beer and taking black mollies, and making a few bucks. And I thought to myself,
Just by yourself, huh?
By myself.
See, that's old school. That's when
I
you
had a
didn't
Marshall
hear
half
about
stack.
doing
I had a
that.
73 Strat and a Marshall half stack, just me.
Wow.
And I was doing that every weekend.
That's interesting.
And before you know it, you're hanging out with girls and you're doing all that other stuff. I'd go to school on Monday and, are you that guy at the party? So yeah, that's me, you know. And I was like, this is the best job in the world. I didn't know it got bigger. You know, I didn't know it grew.
Well, that
you
ain't
know,
working.
But that was my first, you know, inkling into it, you know.
Speaking of best
know-
jobs and brothers, what are we going to
You
say?
know,
brother?
as long as I've been playing my guitar, I've never done a solo act. I've never done a show by myself. Never.
Yeah.
I
Well, they
couldn't-
always
I
say
couldn't do
never
it.
do
I
a show
couldn't
by
do it.
yourself. I mean, that's
couldn't
one of the
do it.
golden rules.
Somebody who's that knocking on your door?
Come in. Oh my
Have
goodness!
mercy.
Look who's here!
Look what the cat dragged in.
Come right in, my friend. It's my secret weapon special guest.
Urban
He has
Urbano.
arrived.
Urban
Come on over this
Urbano.
way. Ladies and gentlemen, Urban Urbano. Urban, here's the microphone for you. Urban, right there, there's a mic for you, man. Say hello, you're actually on air. Phil, you still got it going on? Shout out to Phil Antoine, our engineer.
Yeah.
Shout
Phil,
out
way
to
to go.
Phil.
Just go ahead and speak into it, man.
Just like this?
Just like that. Do you have partner? Can you hear Urban Urbano? Ladies and gentlemen, Urban Urbano, the original from United and so many other bands, you know, Sauce, Randy,
Yeah,
West Side Horns.
West Side Horns. Can you hear that, Phil?
And Henry.
You can actually be heard over here. It's
Yeah.
just,
Now, this is a guy, I'm sorry. This is a guy I was telling you that was my promoter to Europe.
yeah.
Helsinki
we,
guy?
We told that story, but now I need for you to just spill your guts, Urban. How the heck are you, man?
I'm doing really good.
I'm sorry about that emergency with your wife today.
Everything's okay.
He had an urgency, at the pad, but here he is, like a true musician.
Everything's cool.
And she's cool, so he's cool.
Yeah.
Out of sight.
So, how you
He's also an alien. I just want you to know that's an inside joke, but he's he's alien. We are all aliens, he says. But he is. He really is. There's a story behind that.
Well, I tell you what, Henry and I went over to Europe, went over to Finland, and we had a great time. It's never
Yeah.
snow.
I heard you dragged him out there.
Don't drink, don't eat the yellow snow.
Make sure you turn Urban up, okay?
Then Henry and I got kicked out of someplace.
You got kicked out for what reason, may I ask?
He told me about that
Do
story.
tell.
Yeah,
So we
both
got you kicked
fell.
out.
I was helping Henry with his coat. Remember, we both fell
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
You both fell down.
Uh-oh.
His
We got to share. Oh,
yeah,
there
we're
you
sharing
go.
mics. We're
Now I
sharing-
can hear you.
Now I can
now.
hear you too.
Do I start over again?
Play with that one. Maybe it'll, just the fact that it's over here, maybe it'll. No. You use that one,
okay.
Urban.
Do I
was
start
just saying
over
for
again?
fun. I don't know.
I don't know.
You were.
either.
He left off or
Yeah.
we got
Yeah, Henry-
thrown out of.
You fell
Henry and
down.
I fell down. I was helping Henry with his coat,
And I had mine on, or no, I didn't. I don't remember, but I just know we both fell down in the lobby, and the manager came over there and said, "You both need to leave." You know, where to?
And you were booked there, right?
Yeah,
we were staying there, but
Yeah.
they didn't believe us, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Really?
so somebody came and vouched for us, and we were back in. But anyway,
Wow.
so
Yeah.
That
the
sounds
thing-
like a Beatles story or something, you know, like, you know,
I
Paul
was-
and the other guy.
I was playing at Wings on West Avenue
I
on a
remember
Friday.
Wings. Wings was a great place.
And I was in the middle of a break, and I got a call, and it's Urban calling me.
We're getting a little bit of feedback, Phil.
Okay, from me.
Just to hear. No,
Okay,
no,
yeah.
it's
Okay,
Phil.
yeah,
I'm
so-
talking to Phil.
So Urban calls me. He goes, "Hey Henry, you have a passport?" And I go, "Who is this? You know, it's Urban, man. We're on our way to check you out." So he and Yardsey walked up. Yardsey was.
Oh, yeah? Yard
guitar
was
player.
with you? To mine? To mine?
He was the guy in charge of taking it.
Yeah.
Yardsey?
Jartsey Tummerman.
Yeah. So anyway,
He came out on, he's been on the show too.
Yeah.
he came out to the gig. He came out to the gig, and
Great guy.
they listened to me. Then they called me on Saturday to come out. I'm gonna get my stuff ready to be on a plane on Monday. Then and on Sunday I
That's
went out.
exciting now.
On Sunday, I went out to a jam, and when I got home, my wife tells me that they had called back saying, "Never mind, it's off." So I went to the jam that Sunday night, and I came in, and my stuff was packed. She goes, "Hey, they called you back. You are going, so be on a plane. You have to be on a plane at 7 a.m. on Monday morning." So it was short notice, really. So
Very short, but it all worked out great. We flew over there. Our arms were really tired by the time we landed. You know, just go.
yeah, and the thing is, when we got to the New York airport, we were departed, both of us. They took them away for.
Yeah.
What was the reason
Because they
that-
thought I was a terrorist or something.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And
It doesn't get any weirder.
I said to the guy, "Don't you ever watch movies? Terrorists are always got a briefcase and short hair."
Yeah.
And he said, "You're just picking on me."
My
But
gosh.
every time I went to Europe and back, going over there to Europe was never a problem. It's coming back. The Americans gave me more problems getting into the country than leaving the country. Maybe that says something.
You know, but you do look pretty much like criminal.
Well, I try real hard, man. Try real
Hey,
hard.
speaking of criminal, how many projects do you have, man? I mean, every time I've been trying to get this guy on the show for like 20 years. Every time I call, he's busy and he's booked for like a month straight, and he's got like 4 nights a night. I mean, a week rather. Just freaking insane, man. What's up with you?
I've been recording. I've been playing, and we just moved here, so I'm getting a house all set up too. And
Well, that's why he's
know,
playing so much.
so
The house.
yeah, once the house gets all set up, everything I'm sure
Did
is
you,
going to stop.
did you do something with Surfer Joe recently?
Yeah, I did.
Surfer
Okay, well,
Joe.
Surfer Joe's a really good friend of mine. He came out to see me play at Sancho's Wednesday, and he played me some new tracks that y'all did together.
Oh man,
And they're really,
I
hats
tell
off
you,
to you.
man, I'm honored to be here amongst amongst you guys, man.
Oh,
you
thank
guys
you,
are
man.
badass.
Thank
know?
you, brother. I
You guys are the
appreciate it.
heavy cats.
Thank you,
know,
brother. Thank you.
And then to be
Same,
here.
we feel the same about you.
Wow,
Hey,
you guys are
Michael,
great.
I mean, the Ellis, for crying out, for crying out loud, you played with him. You played with a lot of horny guys.
I
Al
gotta watch
Gomez,
out for
you
that
still
one.
see Al. You played with
drop-
Sauce.
don't drop
Tell
the
us
soap.
about those days, man. Tell us about your days with Al Gomez, for example. He's
man.
a Edison graduate. Al Gomez and I, and we were in the stage band together.
Oh,
so we
yeah?
grew up together, yeah. But I knew of his dad. He was a big, orchestral guy, and so I knew of Al and everything that he was doing.
Well, I tell you, working with Al Gomes and Louie and Rocky was quite a privilege. Working with all those guys and Randy, and there's just so many other horn players that came in
Yeah.
to the fold, and big legend guys. I got to play with them, and
Albert Garcia was a bit of the clan as well, no?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he's been in and out. He's always been there. Albie,
yeah, man.
he's been
So
on the show as well.
He's
Shout
been
out to Albert.
he's been one busy guy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Urban, Frank Rodarte, he was never a member of the Horns, right? He was never.
No,
he pretty much worked on his own, right?
Frank was.
He had his own band, the Dill
He
Kings.
was,
or-
he was with Randy and the Dill Kings out in Vegas during the '60s. And so
Wow.
they got really big, and like Mel Torme and Elvis Presley's band, people of that caliber would come out to watch Randy and all the boys from San Antonio. But here's the thing about the boys from San Antonio, like drummer. He would play drums, play trumpet with one hand, and have his vocal mic. So he would do all three of those things at
Wow.
one time. At
That's
one
crazy.
time,
That's crazy.
No way.
And no loopers.
No. I think they were unions,
what
so
I'm
you
talking
probably
about.
did. Unions really
That's a
stickler about.
producer, performer, engineer.
Yeah, so everybody in,
In fact,
that
that's
band,
Phil Antoine.
the Dill Kings, everybody played a horn
Our
and
engineer.
an instrument,
Wow.
So, and they all
I'll be
sang.
lucky if I can find a bass player these days.
Well, I tell you, the bass player was amazing because he had a valve trombone and singing and just with his left hand.
That's
just,
crazy.
what do you call that, Henry? When
Fingering,
you
just
pulling off,
fingering.
you pulling
Yeah,
off strings?
pull-offs, pull-offs.
Yeah. So that somehow they're doing it. Don't know how.
Wow.
But, they were doing it in the '60s, and
Hopefully he was getting paid double.
I'm sure union wages.
Yeah.
If you're doing horn, vocal, and your instrument, that's three times pay.
Wow.
And then you get cardage for bringing your gear.
Then you add some cymbals between your knees.
Yeah, all that counts. Everything counts.
Urban, what's the deal? Drummer at Granaderos.
Oh yeah, worked with the Granaderos. That sounds a great privilege.
What, Damas de Galvez? Del
Yeah,
Rey? Got-
yeah, man.
what in the world is that?
They're let me just take a moment here to explain
Yes.
something.
Yes.
Okay, back in 1750, when America was fighting British for our freedom and stuff, the British were coming up, coming through New Orleans that way, coming up the Mississippi River, coming in the back of the Americans. So who protected that was General Galvez from Spain, and so, but they took care of everything, and they sent beef to the American soldiers where the British didn't have that kind of stuff to eat and fight on. They fight on an empty stomach, and Americans were in good shape
Not
about
me.
that. But the thing was, he had his own fife and drum corps, and if you understand about fife and drum, they're very important on the battlefield.
Oh, yeah.
Communication. There were no cell phones back in 1750 that I can remember. But the drums, and so they had a drummer and a fifer on the battlefield, and a drummer and fifer up on the hill looking at the battle going on. So the fife and drummer on the hill would send messages down by fife and drum to the drummers down there: fire, retreat, left flank, right flank. So everybody had to
The cadence of the drums tells you what you're doing.
exactly
Wow, that's
breakfast.
I didn't know that. Did you guys know that?
Drummer,
I didn't know
drummer
that.
has
A
to
little
know-
bit.
I just thought that.
Drummer
Okay.
knows all the commands.
Only because I have the History Channel.
But also at the same
Yeah.
time, the soldiers got to know the commands too. So it was battle
very
time and
interesting.
a lot of. But the thing about fife and drummers over the cannons and gunfire and people dying and screaming and stuff, drums and fifes cut through everything. So it was very important to have those things going on. So we won the war. And here we are today, sitting here talking about it. So we're very
free.
lucky, and I'm surrounded by some great people, man. But the Granaderos are absolutely the great organization. They present their
And
line
you're
of
part of it, huh?
presentation. Well, I'm too old because I can't march no more,
Oh,
and my hips give me a little bit of problem about marching. So, but you got to wear all that wool in the heat, and so it really gets hot just doing that gig. But I was very honored to be part of such a great organization. So, the
Sir
organization-
Douglas Museum?
Yeah, pardon me.
Sir Douglas Museum? Does that ring a bell?
That's something else. When Doug died, Kevin Kossip on the South Side made a
Kevin?
museum for
Yes, he's
Doug.
been on the show.
Yeah, so
He used to always come see the Infidels, and then we would party afterwards. You know,
Yeah.
we'd go to Kevin Cossup's house and hang out all night.
Is Kevin still around?
yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
getting ready to
praise
do another
God.
movie,
He's a character. I love him.
and he has a
The Rat Race Kid.
Rat Race
Rat
Kid.
Race
No
Kid.
Yeah.
shit, really.
He was
So-
known as a Rat Race Kid when he was performing here in town. So he's Augie's cousin.
Augie's cousin,
he's
yeah.
his cousin.
Yeah, he sure is.
Well, he was on the show, on this show from New Braunfels when we were there for 2 years. I was there for 2 years, so they'd come out to the studio, Valmora and he and Paul. It was pretty cool.
Well, I tell you what, there's so many things going on right now. I got another project that's
No way.
There was a
Not
band,
another one.
a band I played with 40 years ago called the Drifters of Victoria, and man, we get 2,000 or 3,000 people every gig. You know, we
Wow.
play
Wow.
like 3-4 times a week. You know, so I
Wow.
did that for a few years, and now
It's a hard act to follow, man.
it really is. But I met Randy Gearbein, all the horns.
Where were you performing these gigs?
Down in Victoria, in Czestochowa, in Nixon, all these little towns
Yeah.
had dance halls.
It's probably all the people in the town that came
I
out.
love those gigs, man. That's where the whole town comes to
But-
check out the one gig. You know,
Not
that's
just
happening.
a town, 2,000 or 3,000 people would come every gig, you know?
Yeah, that's-
And we'd have one hell of a great night. And
Yeah, I'm
so I say.
sure.
And then, so we're going to do a reunion of that 40 years later, and there's already sold 15 tables at $1,000 a table.
Wow, there you go.
So, you know, this is going to be a big gig. I got to get my hip right.
Can I borrow $10?
I have,
He's in the money, man. He's already banking.
man, that's.
Hey, how we
that's
doing on time, Phil? Have we hit an hour yet? 46. Yeah, we're getting close, but we're all right. You know, we're gonna splice your interview probably into the center of this one. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it-
If not, we'll just let it go.
I've got a
'cause I
real
think it's
quick
awfully
story
funny
that
he
he's,
entered.
he's never heard.
Right.
I want to hear this.
Only on my show can you enter the door in the middle of
I
the
got to
show.
hear this
I got
story.
a quick story about him that he doesn't know. Sauce's son Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about Urban. Was my roadie when I was 14, and you guys were playing out of town somewhere, and he goes, "Hey man, we can practice at Urban's house," and so we were on the back of a truck, and it's me, Andy Garza, probably Craig Farmer, and Thomas Gonzalez, and we go to your house. I forget my guitar. I forgot my guitar. He's like, I think there's one in the house. Now I'm telling you, I used one of your guitars one night. There was a guitar in your house.
Wow.
And this was when I'm 53. This was when I was like 16.
Wow.
And so I'm glad I fessed up that I used somebody's guitar in the house, you know. I don't remember the rest of the night. I know we had practiced and left, but it was Sauce's kid. Some reason had access to your house. So
Well, there's a lot of people had access to my house.
I seem to think this is a deja vu moment. Everybody had a key to Urban's
I guess I'm
bed.
apologizing to you live, you know.
Wow.
But yeah, that's my Urban Urbano
That's
story.
funny.
Oh no.
But you know, because of that night, it's part of the reason I am who I am, because I did that when I was a kid, and it led me to be, you know, professional musician. So thank you.
But I tell you what, as long as we're playing,
We were playing music. That's all we would
that's
do.
all that really counts.
Yeah,
you know?
playing music, man.
And
you
getting
know,
paid.
rocking and
Oh
rolling.
yeah, get paid. That's even better. You know.
Oh yeah.
It's okay to play just as long as you get paid.
Yeah, it is. I know
Right?
a lot of.
Right, Henry?
That's it. Hey, Urban, excuse me.
Yes, sir,
Urban,
by all means.
how long? I mean, do you think about stopping anytime soon? You still look like you're energized to play for many
I gotta
years to
tell you,
come,
man.
brother.
At least another 10
I
years,
saw
15.
the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. I saw all those three when they played.
I saw the
And that-
Stones on Ed Sullivan.
Yeah, there you go. And
yeah.
that Ringo struck the spark for me to start playing drums.
Is that right?
And right away after that first night of watching them on TV, I started hitting things. I went and got 2 branches off the tree and just started hitting everything around. My parents' pots
Yeah,
and pans.
ditto.
And, you know, so,
Sure.
you know, eventually they got me a drum, and eventually I got a drum set. and the rest is just I'm
History.
I'm just so happy to be able to play and get to play with cats like you and know cats like you. I mean, I'm so honored. You know, it just is. You know. That's cool. And I thank God that I'm able to do this. You know.
Yeah.
It wasn't my work.
Who's your next gig with? Speaking of all the guys.
I'm gonna play. I'm playing Wednesday with my brother out at Jake's in Pipe Creek.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, that's a big jam. It gets a lot of people out there. And yeah,
I
you
gotta
boys,
make it
you
one of
boys
those.
I've
ought to
always
come
wanted to
out
make it
there and
out
check
there.
that
I
out.
thought we did
On
one.
Wednesdays.
Yeah, I thought I did a gig with you guys out there. Wasn't it? No, it wasn't you. It was your brother and Bear.
Yeah,
And
Bear.
They put something together, and we were invited to play on that. It's an outdoor gig, right? Pipes
Well,
Creek.
this is indoor. I don't think anybody would.
I
be
know,
able to survive
but
outside.
back then we played outdoors. But it's the same place, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
What is it they hold every year?
they hold. The Smith brothers have a jam out there. My brother hosts it, and so they do a big jam, and a lot of people
Well, you
come.
were
from,
all a part of the Smith Brothers as well.
Yeah, I played with my brother for about a little over a year, and so that worked out really good. And I ended up working with Randy from that, and all the horns, and so it's just been like one good thing after another, one lucky thing, and then all of a sudden Henry and I are in Europe, and
That's incredible. That's incredible. When you told me that over the phone, you know, and I knew you were my secret weapon for the show, right? I said,
Yeah,
hey,
he
man.
wouldn't. Ed wouldn't tell us. He goes, "I got a secret weapon." He always has a secret weapon. Always has a secret weapon.
Yeah.
But he got a really good one today.
And so anyway, we get there and getting back to that, you know, and we walk into a little schoolroom, a classroom, right?
Yeah.
And we were going to rehearse there, our first rehearsal with guys I'd never played with before, except Urban. And I go, okay, what is it we're going to do? And they look at me and they go, what you want to do, you know? And I said, you mean I have to call out the songs and pick out about 30 songs that I've never played with these guys? Because we were doing 2 sets, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
The gigs were 2 sets, and I went up there not knowing, well, and the keyboard player was really good. He'd pick up on anything. And
Mossy.
yeah. And so he just followed along, and it fell in place. So we had a good time.
And Mossy had some kind of B3 made special.
If you're
Well,
going
the
to play
Hammond-
organ,
the
that's
Hammond,
what you
the
want to
B3
play.
Hammond.
That's what you want to hear.
But
Nothing like him, man.
Mossy's quite a character. He owns a castle in Finland. So when you own a castle,
Yeah, you told me that story too.
how do
I
you
was
own
like,
a
what?
castle? I know.
We're not talking White Castle,
Castle.
either.
But and Colo was on bass. Remember Colo? And he was amazing. Just everybody was just amazing. The whole gigs, Yachty and the people. So some of those gigs, we started at 4:00 in the morning, right? Or we ended at 4 in the morning, something like.
We ended at 4,
Yeah, something like. The restaurants were the dance halls too, because economics was hitting everybody in the late '90s, you know. So there was just a different time.
So we do a sound check in the afternoon, and it was a big place. And I said, how are we going to fill this place tonight? You know, when we got back that night to perform, the place was already packed, right?
Wow, man.
You know, it's like who are we to pack this place? I guess just because we're not from
How
over
did that
there.
happen?
you
Who
know?
did they come to see anyway?
Yeah.
Hole's House? Did they think they were going to see
It
Hole's
was a
House?
Texas blues band, right? Texas.
Yeah.
We called ourselves.
But
a
with
Texas
Hole's
blues-
House at the helm, I'm sure.
Well,
Because back then he was
Hol-
playing for Delbert, and he was
Yeah,
there were a
he
couple of
was.
guys there. He was playing that song "I Want to Love You." It's one of my favorite songs by Delbert. He played that awesome lead.
It's a great
on that
song,
tune.
man.
Yeah, one of my favorites. Probably my favorite out of all Delbert songs. So
Yeah.
soulful.
I love watching Delbert. You know,
Oh,
just like,
Great.
Yeah.
what a
I
player.
spent my birthday with him back in 2018, and it was my induction to New Braunfels. It's fun.
2018. Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, why don't we play that last tune that you've got
Oh,
set
you
up?
want to do Nadine?
You want to take us out on a couple of little something?
I'm gonna let you start it.
Okay,
When you come in. Just-
I'll bang on my legs.
I was gonna bring a little snare drum and stuff from the room, you know. Jeez, should have got my sticks and you could tap on that on the Heineken. No, my. Okay, man, for San Antonio Musicians Talk Show Network, I just want to thank all the guys that showed up today. This is a River City Slim show. Henry Perez, Cesar V, Xavire Aguire, Urban Urbano, Phil Antoine on record and engineering. I'm at Ocampo for San Antonio Musicians Talk Show Network. Listen, go out and go do something good for somebody today, because we're out to change the world one day at a time. Thank you so very much. Bless you all. We've got some editing to do. Have a great day.
Is that you? Ow! Nadine, honey, where are you? Every time I see you, you got something else to do. Going home.
Yeah, baby. Henry Perez, man, oh man, River City Slim show, baby. Hey, we out of here. X-Man, man, Urban, V over here, man, and Henry. Myself, I'm Eddie. We'll see you cats
Thank
later.
you, Ed
For
Ocampo,
Phil.
man. Love all you guys.
Amen. Amen
see you
to that.
soon.
Thanks so very much.
Thank you.
The Scraggler, the Alien, Urban Urbano.
I tell you what, I've never put a microphone between my legs and used it that way. I hope this gets recorded.
Welcome.
Hey,
That
that was
so
some
funny. He has
what
no
I call
drum set, but
ingenuity.
He's a drummer, so he plays his legs. Thanks, Phil Antoine.